Hey y'all, it's Santana, aka Tana's Book Diary, and I'm back with another video. I'm excited to do my first quarter wrap up. This will include my books that I've read, any movies and shows I watched, and the music I'm currently obsessed with. I might look a little dewy. It's a little toasty right now. Because the weather is really nice and I had to get dressed really quickly because it is Easter. So happy Easter to those who celebrate. By the time this video is up, it won't be Easter, but happy Easter if you celebrate. Happy spring break if you don't. Happy Sunday, happy whatever day it is. I hope you guys are having a great day and thank you for stopping over and watching my video. This year has started off very slow for me as far as reading, but I did get through about 6 books so far in this first quarter of the year. And I am excited and happy that I just got through 6 books. This year has been very hectic already. Lots of moving pieces and things going on work-wise, personal life-wise, family-wise. So I'm just excited that I got through 6 books. So let's get into it. I have a list on my notes that I'll be looking at. So for January, I read 2 books, and most of the books this quarter were all audiobooks for the most part. So the first book I listened to was Poverty by America by Matthew Desmond. I gave that 4 stars. It just does a deep dive about class in America and how anyone and everyone could easily fall into poverty at a drop of a dime. Even like right now where everyone's talking about gas prices are inflating, the price of groceries is going up, minimum wage is not, like things like that, bills kind of coming out of nowhere, medical bills, life, health, things that can just come up out of nowhere that can put you in a financial bind in an instant. It just talks about how anyone is susceptible to that, how there is that 1% or small percentage of people that really hoard all the wealth that could do so much more good with that money, but decide to turn around and tell those who do not make that much money, who do not have that much money, who will never probably see that much money in their lifetime, to work harder, to do more, to start a business, to buy more property, to do whatever, like we get all this stuff kind of shoved down our throat through music and TV and these celebrities and billionaires who tell us, you can be just like me, when in reality it's like, it's a small chance, a very small chance that I will ever be like that. So it kind of just delves deep into how poverty in America kind of was created and started, and how a lot of us are more susceptible to being impoverished than we are being billionaires. So I gave that 4 stars. I think it kind of was a little repetitive for me towards the end, but overall the messaging was really good, and it kind of hit home as I hit my 1 year of home ownership in January. And I kind of was like, I can see how one thing in your house can completely go out. My HVAC went out last summer, and that can throw you completely financially. And I'm blessed to have a family and a support system that was willing to help me, but that is not the case for everyone. So it just also put things really into perspective, especially for me. So that was the first book of the year. My second book for January was Black Women Taught Us by Jen M. Jackson. I gave that 5 stars. This is on my list to get a physical copy of because it was so good. I had initially seen it at Mahogany Bookstore when I was with my friend Haley, and she recommended me this book and said it was so good. And I said, I have to listen to the audiobook because of life was lifing and physical books just have not been the thing I've been gravitating towards. But honestly, after listening to this book, I wish I had the physical. There were so many things that I wanted to highlight, annotate, and delve deeper into that I could not do through audiobooks. So I am on the hunt to get a physical copy, specifically from an indie bookstore. I just like to support smaller businesses. And I just loved it. I loved how each chapter focused on a woman who truly changed the game for me, for us, for whatever field they were in. So the arts or literature or policy and politics. I just loved it. It talked about Shirley Chisholm. It talked about Angela Davis. It talked about Audre Lorde. There was just so many women that I knew a little bit about, but learned so much more through this book. And I just love how it also kind of weaved in Jen M. Jackson's actual life and their experience being disabled, being a queer person, from Oakland, California, if I'm correct. Just also their life was weaved throughout the book, and I just love that so much. Yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite books of this quarter, honestly. For February, I read 3 books, so I kind of went up a little bit. I read Sweet Heat by Baloo Babalola. I have the physical copy, but I think I read... No, I did read the physical. Okay, so this was my only physical book for this quarter. I enjoyed it. It took me a long time to get through it, but I gave it 4 stars. I love this world with Malachi and Kiki. I initially read Honey and Spice 3 years ago, and I loved that book so much. I loved kind of like that college grownish vibe it had, while also like talking a lot about music and podcasting and radio personalities and things like that. And Sweet Heat is kind of that second chance romance where we find out that they split at the end of book 1, and then 7 years go by, and now we see them even more mature, grown, and more established in their work. And we see kind of how they come back to each other, but also find themselves individually. I've been reading a lot of nonfiction, so that was nice to kind of switch it up. So my next book for February was Black Owned, The Revolutionary Life of Black-Owned Bookstores by Shar Adams. This was an audiobook listen that I also want to get a physical copy of. It was so good. I had never thought to read a book about Black-owned bookstores, but I'm so glad that Shar Adams thought about it, because it was so interesting to hear about the first Black-owned bookstores in the United States and how there were so many more than I ever could have thought of. And it was a big boom at one point, and then a fast decline of them, honestly. And then the rise of the 2020s, and more people are now starting to start and run bookstores. And I just think that's really interesting. And I love learning about how in different parts of the country, like it was just different types of bookstores and what they sold and who they interacted with and who was, you know, people who were going to the store, like people I would have never even expected, like celebrities or politicians. Like, I just think it's beautiful. I'm definitely a history person at heart, and I just love learning about the start of the Black-owned bookstore. So that was really a good book, and I hope to get a physical copy for sure. And my next one was also an audio listen, but I think it was also an animated book as well. It was called Wake, The Hidden Story of the Women-Led Slave Revolt by Rebecca Hall. I gave this 5 stars. It had a jam-packed cast of people. I know DeWanda Wise for sure was voicing one of the main characters. She was in She's Gotta Have It, the TV show remake of the movie. This was just about this women-led slave revolts, and it was kind of a back and forth of the history of that, as well as it's almost like it was being retold to a class of students, and the professor or the teacher was doing like research. And as she was doing the research, she was also telling her students about this research she was doing and getting them super invested. And these class of students were initially kind of like cast away as like bad children, or they have behavior problems, like they're not going to go anywhere, and giving them like this generic United States history work. And she was challenging the administration of the school she worked at, like, no, they need to learn about these women-led slave revolts. And so it kind of was a back and forth of the actual situation, the actual revolt, and then her retelling it. I thought it was really cool. And listening to the audiobook, like, so much sound design was like utilized, like the water when they were in the slave ships, like you could hear the waves crashing against the boat. You can hear like the screams of the women when they were like fighting and actually like attacking their oppressors. Like, it was a crazy thing, and I really enjoyed it, and it was very immersive. And then for March, I only read 1 book.
Hey y'all, it's Editing Santana, and I just want to pop in and say I actually read 2 books in March. The second book I read was The Close-Up by Kennedy Ryan. It was a novella which kind of followed Real, her book that came out a few years ago, but it was republished like late last year or the year before. And it's kind of on the heels of her next book coming up called Score. So I did read that book. I low-key forgot to add it to my read list in my notes, but I gave that 3 stars. If you like heavy spice, this book is for you. So I did read 2 books in March. I don't know. I completely forgot about that one. So sorry to her. But yeah, that's it.
March was kind of crazy, but I did finish Happy Land by Dolan Perkins Valdez. I gave that 4 stars. This is one of my favorite genres of book or things in books that I love is anything about generational curses, family problems, family issues, and like mending those problems. This one is about a women-led family where it's a lot of issues between the mothers and the daughters and the grandmother. We kind of do past and present. So we follow Nikki or Veronica. And she is kind of summoned by her grandmother to visit her and to help her with, you know, keeping her house in their family. And so she's kind of like confused because she has not seen her grandmother in like 8 years, but she decides to go anyway because she felt like this call was pressing. And then we bounce to Luella. Luella is an ancestor of Nikki and Mother Rita, and she is the queen of this happy land, this land that Mother Rita now lives on, that she's about to lose her house. So we kind of see the history of how they got this land, how it was owned by a Black family, and then we see how it's about to be lost and taken by a white family. But then it also challenges and talks about the mother-daughter dynamics because Nikki's mother, who I cannot remember her name, is not close with Mother Rita anymore because of their tension with the land and where they lived. And so we get to see a lot of that be addressed in the midst of also like losing your family home to white people who kind of just are like, oh, we want to put townhomes and just, you know, like basically take away the essence of the land from you because they see a cash grab to it. So that was all my books for this first quarter. As far as movies and TV shows, I want to first say I rewatch a lot of stuff. I don't watch a lot of new TV for a multitude of reasons. One, because it kind of feels daunting going into a new show, especially if I don't start from the top, like the beginning. Also, I just like to watch things I've already seen because I don't have to anticipate anything. I know what's going to happen. But I did watch a few new things this quarter. I did a video about my comfort shows and movies, so check that out. It'll be in the tags up above if you're interested in seeing kind of what I probably did rewatch. But the 3 things that I watched this quarter that I really enjoyed or stuck out to me was The Pit, which I also just did a video about, which will be in the cards as well. I like The Pit. I have a lot of criticism towards the show, but I think that can make a show good as well. Like something that makes me think, something that makes me have strong opinions. So The Pit is one of my favorite shows right now. It's on HBO Max. Paradise, which is on Hulu, starring Sterling K. Brown, is really good. The first season had me hooked. I'm not fully caught up on season 2 just yet. And the season finale just came out, which is absolutely crazy. But they got renewed for season 3, so I'm excited for them. But that show is so crazy and has me hooked. And then I watched this movie randomly after I rewatched A Secret Life of Bees. I watched Smoking Aces strictly because Alicia Keys was like in the cast list. And I was like, when did she do this? It's like a crazy cast lineup. Ben Affleck, Alicia Keys, Taraji P. Henson, Common, a bunch of other like known white actors. It was a crazy heist movie. It was dark comedy, raunchy kind of vibe. I don't know why I watched it, but it was very intriguing. I kind of enjoyed it. Like it was kind of a weird, like uncomfortable feeling for some things because it was just super graphic at some parts. I don't know if I would rewatch it by myself again. I would definitely rewatch with like other people, but that was like the 3 things I really can remember that I enjoyed throughout the last 3 months that was new. As far as music, I love music. My favorite thing to do is curate playlists, listen to music. And so the top songs or albums that stuck out to me was The Weeknd by Mac Miller and Miguel. Literally feels like the beginning of spring and summer. And that beat is just crazy. So I literally remember listening to it for the first time because it popped up on YouTube and I was like, wait a minute, this is too good. And I've just been listening to it in rotation since. Spody Odie Dopalicious by Outkast. Yeah, like that is my joint right there. Yeah, that's my joint. I love that. I love that song so much. Just Another Day by Queen Latifah has been on constant rotation as well. I really have been digging like that jazz rap era of hip hop where it's like A Tribe Called Quest, Queen Latifah, Diggable Planets. That's kind of been my vibe lately, honestly. Like Common, all of them, that era of music has just been scratching this itch in my brain. And I just love it so much. But yeah, Just Another Day is like my song choice, honestly. Everything Is a Lot, the album by Wale, has been on constant rotation. Wale really did his big one with that album. I love it for him because he's such a, to me, like the DMV rapper. I know sometimes he feels like he doesn't get the love from us, but I'm giving his 1-2s all the time. But this album is so good. Like Belly is such a good song. Power and Problems, Like Watching Us obviously was going to be the single off that album with Leon Thomas. I could play it through and have no problem. Don't Look Back by Miguel. It has kind of this end of world, soft rock kind of feeling, and I just love it. That's also been my thing, like a little soft rock. That's my vibe. No Fear by Dej Loaf feels like spring and summer. I listened to it yesterday. It was like 80 degrees yesterday and it felt so good. Like I just felt my energy going up literally as the song was going. It just has that vibe of like, it's almost summer, it's almost spring. The sun is coming out, it's warm. And then the 2020 Experience, the deluxe version by Justin Timberlake, has honestly been a vibe as well. Let the Groove Get In has been something I'm constantly listening to. It's just so groovy. The breakdown, the 8-minute long track, I love it, okay? That's kind of been everything I've been reading, listening to, watching. This first quarter of the year, I have so many more things to watch, to listen to do, so I can't wait for the next quarter video. But let me know what you guys have been currently listening, watching, and reading lately, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.